We will be continuing um, Karma book, the highlights. There's a difference between using your mind and being used by it. Whatever you accept becomes part of you. Whenever pain enters your life, you tend to wonder why me, even my mother in law didn't get it. Of all the people in the world, why me? Of course, he's kind of making a joke. But once you accept something, it becomes part of you. Even if for a moment, if you accept something as a part of you, you attain a profound sense of harmony. You are attuned to life. If your acceptance is total, you can experience the whole of your existence as a part of yourself. It's very important for us to understand. Accepting totally. If you become absolute acceptance, then everything past, present, future is here and now. If you become absolute acceptance, then everything past, present, future is everything here and now. Life is conditioned by our past experience from the day you were born, your parents, your family, your culture, your religion, your education, your social context have worked upon you, determining who you are right now. So your mind is very deeply conditioned by your past. It's a wonderful way of explaining how our minds are being conditioned by our surroundings where we grown up. Gautama, the Buddha, the greatest scientist of the human mind, speaks four aspects of the mind: cognition, recognition, sensation, and reaction. Cognition, recognition, sensation, and reaction. Now, let us first suppose the sound comes to your ears. It enters the first aspect of your mind, cognizes that this is a sound, not a smell, taste, and sight. It recognizes the sound, that this is a person speaking, a bird chirping, an automobile engine starting up, and so on and so forth. How does it recognize it? Every sound you have ever heard has been recorded, so vast library of sounds exists within you. Without a past impression, there is no possibility of a recognition. Without a past impression, there is no possibility of recognition. So, for instance, if you hear the sound of a woodpecker for the very first time, your mind will be confused. But 10 days later, if you hear it again, it will recognize it immediately. If there are some young people next door playing heavy metal music, you may go into ecstasy, but your grandfather may have a nervous breakdown because the same sound creates pleasant sensation in one person and drives the other person crazy. Now, if you recognize the sound sensation come into action and produces a sensation. If you recognize this music as a pleasant sensation, you will happen. Sensations will happen. If you recognize this as a noise, unpleasant sensations happen. It is not the sound, but the way it is imprinted on you that makes to recognize pleasant or unpleasant. So the very way in which you experience life, whether you see it as a sweet or sour, beautiful or ugly, pleasant or unpleasant, is your responsibility, as your ability to respond is what determines the nature of your experience. As your ability to respond is what determines the nature of your experience. It is in 159 page. It's wonderful if you reread it or maybe you re-listen it so you understand the whole concept of it. It comes back to the saying that all our memories and experiences are imprinted on our mind, on our experience from the time we are born, based on our place, parents, circumstances, surroundings we grow up, and what are the beliefs that we put in our heads. So, simple example, what he gives is that suppose if you never heard of a woodpecker sound and then you hear it up, which your mind cannot recognize it, but after 10 days, your mind can get that sound because of its the 10 days ago you experienced it. So that's how our life also, whatever the imprints what you are taking is how we are reacting based on whatever the situation comes right in front of us, whether it is a good way you're responding or bad way you're responding. It again, it's good or bad is depends on how you determine and how your past impressions imprinted in your mind. For someone, killing for a living is the belief that that's how they lived it. Like, for example, some animals does that, right? It depends on what kind of beliefs you put in your head and what kind of situations you come up with and what kind of beliefs you built around your body or mind, and in terms of your relationships, in terms of your finances, in terms of your education system, so on and so forth, pretty much into the religion. There are many aspects to it. So whatever you see it as a sweet or sour, beautiful or ugly, pleasant or unpleasant, it's your responsibility. As your ability to respond is what determines the nature of your experience. If you go a little bit deep into it, you'll understand a little bit more. But I hope whatever the experiences or explanations which was given probably help you to do better in what you do. All it takes is a willingness to experience everything the way it is. Willingness to experience everything the way it is, instead of looking for something for judgments. And what do you based on judgment? How do you judge someone? Based on your beliefs, not based on the person beliefs. You are simply open to enjoying the different flavors of life without seeking one or escaping the other. Isn't the whole point of your the planet to experience as much of life as possible before you fall dead? My ability to respond is boundless. As your acceptance depends, you also move to a higher and higher levels of freedom. Acceptance is a freedom from the blame game, freedom from drama, freedom from the dance or duality. There is only you and in this moment and no one else. Who then can you possibly blame? Oh, that's a wonderful way of looking at any situations which comes up. Imagine you are living in an island all by yourself from the time you're born. And what kind of beliefs will you come up with? What kind of situations you come up with? Do you really see a lot of problems around you? Because you're the only one. I mean, you just dropped from, say, heaven, and you dropped an island, and you're the only one to live and survive. How do you survive? Do you do you whom do you blame? I mean, if you don't know what is blame, how do you even define that blame is the word? And who gave the meanings to these words and how it is imprinted? It's very wonderful way of looking and reflecting on everything we do on a daily basis. So think about that every time you wanted to blame someone. What if that you were dropped in an island for say next 5 years? Who would you blame? I'm sure you're going to blame someone who dropped you over there. Definitely, that I can guarantee you. But what if that you have no awareness of what's happening around you, but you are there and then you had to survive there for 5 years? And how do you view your life and from that way and see? Most likely we do. Probably that is a time where if you don't have anyone to blame, then you look within yourself and see what you need to do to live that 5 years of your life in the island. And I hope that's one way to reflect and look at what can we do with what you have without blaming others. Now, blame games can go on forever. Trust me, and I'm sure in your experience you can see that too. Blame games is the beautiful way of to putting your blame on others. This wonderful example. Something is on my. Anyways, thank you for watching, and as it gets in 10 minutes or less, I just wanted to close this and come back because we have wonderful story to go through. Thank you.